Hi class, so for the science lesson that I prepared, it's titled Forces in Motion, and the standard I chose has to do with our focus on balanced and unbalanced forces. And so for the first activity that I have planned for students to do in class, that one we will focus on balanced forces on an object. And so for this activity, students will be split up into groups of 4, and each group will be given a small toy metal car and 2 magnets. And so it's important to keep in mind that the 2 magnets that each group receives, the 2 magnets will be of the same charge of the car, but they will be of opposite charge of each other. And so for this activity, students will get the toy car, they will place it on top of their desk, and the 2 magnets that they will be provided, they will put one magnet on the right side of the car, and then they will put the other magnet on the left side of the car. And so the car will be right in the center between both magnets. And also, students should keep in mind that the magnets should be the same distance away from the car, right? So if the right magnet is 2 feet away from the car, then I'm sorry, not 2 feet. If it's 2 inches away from the toy car, then the left magnet should also be 2 inches away from the car. And so when students do this, they will notice that the car does not move because it is not attracted to either magnet because they are of the same charge. And so the car will remain motionless. And so this activity will show what balanced forces looks like. And then for the second activity, this one we will focus on unbalanced forces on an object. And so for this activity, again, students will remain in groups of 4, but this time they will be given 2 balloons. So each group will receive 2 balloons, and they will have to inflate both balloons. So for this one balloon will have more air than the other. And again, same way that they did with the magnets, they will put the toy metal car on top of their desk. They will inflate both balloons, but one balloon will have more air than the other. And they will place one balloon on the right side of the car, and then one balloon, again inflated, on the left side of the car. And at the same time, they will open the balloon to release the air, and they will notice that obviously the balloon with less air will disinflate first, and the balloon with more air will push the car because it is the greater force. It'll push the car the other way. And this activity will show students what unbalanced forces look like. And students will also be given a set of vocabulary words. And so I printed those out, and this is what they will look like. These will be their vocabulary cards. So students will have to cut them out and notice how each card has the vocab word, which is up here, and then the definition for it down here. And so each student will be in charge of cutting theirs out and stapling them together to keep them. And I will be using this to incorporate funds of knowledge for students. So what students will have to do is they will have to create their own examples for each vocabulary word. And so for example, motion, we're going to learn about motion in science, but the definition is a change of the position of an object with time. And so each student will have to write their own example of how they see motion in their daily life. So for example, at home, I don't know if they take the car from school to their house. So they will say, you know, like the car is in motion when it takes me from school to my house, or vice versa. And so that will show me that they understand what each vocabulary word means. And so students will have to do that for each one. And then they will also be given task cards. And so I printed those out as well. This is what the task cards will look like. Again, students will have to cut each one of these out and staple them together to keep them together. And these task cards will ask students to do things such as research the difference between unbalanced and balanced forces. They will also have to create a diagram to show what unbalanced and balanced forces looks like. and so forth. And so students will receive a set of these as well. And then students will be given 2 worksheets. So the first worksheet that students will receive will be this one. It's titled Forces and Motions. And so it has 3 simple questions for students to do. So the first question is just a definition on what balanced forces are. So students will have to write out what the definition of balanced forces is based off of the 2 activities we did in class. And then for question number 2, it describes what we saw take place in the first activity, which was with the 2 magnets and the toy car. And so what students will have to do is draw an illustration right here of what that first activity looked like. So for example, students will have to draw the toy car here in the center. Then they will have to draw 1 magnet on the right side, the other magnet on the left side of the toy car. Then they will have to draw an arrow to show which direction the car is moving, or if the car is motionless, down here they will have to describe what they see happen in the diagram. So they will write, oh, the car was motionless because both forces were balanced, and they will have to identify which ones are the forces. The magnets will be the forces, and the car will be motionless because they are balanced. And so this is what students will do for the first worksheet. For the second worksheet, again, it's titled Forces in Motion because it still has to do with the same lesson plan. And for this one, students will focus on unbalanced forces. So again, they will have to write out the definition of what unbalanced forces are based off of activity 2 that we did. And then again, question 2 describes what we saw take place in activity 2, which had to do with the 2 balloons and the toy car. So students again will have to draw again an illustration of what they saw take place and an arrow showing which direction the toy car is moving. In this case, they will draw an arrow showing which direction it's moving because the forces are unbalanced, so there is motion. And for question 3, again, they will also have to describe what they saw for question 2. And so this is the worksheet that students will receive. And overall, I think that this lesson plan would work very well for students, and it would really help them learn what the difference is between balanced and unbalanced forces.